Hola, this is Cruz, and I'd like to share an outgoing swap with y'all. This is for Dian's Everything Disney swap. I had so much fun creating for it last year. I used an Andrea Bethke, like I forgot what she called it, but it's an Encanto collection. Because I mean, I like Disney and all that, but I don't have any. Well, actually, I do have a couple of the mouse collections. But anyway, I just wanted to do something different. So this year, I'm pretty much almost out of the Encanto collection. So I decided to go ahead and get some digitals of Marie from the Aristocats. There's a little bit of the others, but mainly it's Marie. She's a little cutie. She reminds me of our two white boys, our two kitty boys, Boba and Jack, but especially Boba because Boba has the blue eyes. So I made the mistake of relying on my memory, and I was like, oh yeah, we have to have like a creative album or book to put our ability or stuff that we make in. So I constructed three. I made two to swap and one for Diane. And then I decided after that to look at the requirements, and it was a creative bag or tote. And I was like, oh, you dumbass. Anyway, so I made this, and I sewed my first tote. Um, but I need to press it. I washed them just to be sure that they're like extra good and sturdy. And yeah, and then so I need to press them before I pack this stuff all in there. So that'll be a little surprise that Diane can show y'all. Anyway, so here's my book. I wrapped, it says Marie, and then it has this cute little focal on there. And then this, sorry, I put lotion on, so this band-aid keeps coming off. Anyway, so I love these. I have these doily dies that's like paw prints. And then I just made a regular schmegular rosette here, and then I sewed. So it's gold tulle with gold polka dots, and then I put her on there, and then I went through and put these little diamond dots on around her little face. And so here I made two more rosettes, and right here I did like the front there, and then this one, her bow, I blinged out her bow, and there are pockets and there are things in there. So let me, I might forget, so let me just take some out. So here are some stickers that I kind of repackaged. Here are the beatable things that I created. I did a mirror. One of these is a pencil, one of them is a pen, and then here's a letter opener. Ugh, you guys can't see. And I didn't put any, I was going to put something, I usually put dangling stuff, but I was like, you know what, let me just leave these kind of normal. The only one that has something dangling is the letter opener. And then in this pocket, we have some more stickers. Yeah, because the package was kind of thick to put in one pocket, so that's why I split it up into two. And then here are the bows that I created. Cutie girl with, the different wrapped beads and charms. It's nighttime, so it's kind of hard for me to show you guys, but hopefully, I'm sure when Diane shows y'all, y'all have a better look. Oh yeah, and so I had purchased these dies, but I didn't incorporate them in my crafts. They were kind of out of sight, out of mind. So here's a card that looks kind of like the one that I think the butler or whoever is that takes the cats. Here's the basket that the kittens were placed in. There's an Eiffel Tower here, and here in the background is Duchess and Thomas O'Malley, the alley cat. Anyway, those I just did them in like specialty paper so that people can use them how they like. And then here's a little family. Their stepdaddy, Thomas O'Malley. Here is Duchess. Here's Marie. And then I always forget which kitty is which. So one of them is Toulouse and Berlioz, which are composers. And then here are two more rosettes. And then in here I made from the different papers that I had, like the parts that were cut off. I was like, you know what, those little strips, let me make some simple rosettes. So that's what I did with this. And then right here I have these cute little bow back toppers. I love these, so precious. And I used this pearlized paper from Michael's. And then right here it says Marie, and then it says bow. So there's the book with that stuff. I also created, let me move this, my printer, okay, and so here I just created this little box to house some extra bows that I made. I just pulled out different ribbons and such that I thought were cute, that kind of went with the collections that I used from Etsy shop. So these have like, they're like laser cut bows. these have hearts, laser cut, and then these are from Dollar Tree, the cross grain, whatever. So yeah, and then I put a bow, so you know there are bows in there. And then here, these are little containers from Dollar Tree. I like when they have them on sale. Anyway, so I just did a real big, oops, it goes this way. Basic bow with the matting. And then inside I have, I think these are just like extra wrap beads. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Just, you know, I get carried away when I wrap beads. I pull out stuff that inspire me with the collection, and then I start wrapping. And then when I make the dangle or, you know, beaded items, whatever it is that I'm going to put, you know, wrap beads on, if I have extra, I try to, yeah, give away. So this one, I matted this backwards, so it's Dian's, because it goes this way. So she's getting the quote-unquote defective one. Oh, what happened was, I think I matted this wrong. Everything, no. It was just wrong. Anyway, so in here's my Memdex. I used this heart one. I don't know who made it, but I just added these acrylic little tiny roses all around here, and then the hollow rosette is from Lori, and then here's a rosette from a collection that I made. And then because I'm late, that's why, is a little piece. I think I got this from Ebony. So yeah, and then just really simple. I put my thing back here with a little bow, and then in here I have the dangle. Hold on. Which way, George? That's the end. Okay, so I love these shaped ones, especially the kitties, of course. And then so here's the dangle. She's a long one. I'm just gonna kind of do this. And so what I did is I beaded Aristocats, and that's like the center, the spine, if you will. And then I put Disney Swap on the bottom. And then you can see I you know, pulled all these things that went with the collections that I had purchased on Etsy, and yeah, I beaded this up, or wrapped it up and put it together. So then I have to put it just right so that the rosette doesn't get squished. Anyway, so that's that. I hope you guys like it. I hope Diane and whoever ends up with my swaps like them, and I'll link her down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.